3 hours of racing here at the island.
We get to the line and we are underway. It's a drag race down the long main straight down to turn one. Cold tyres, they'll be aware of that. Let's watch them as they dive down the southern loop. Looks like the McLaren has held that advantage.
Here's the KTM crossbows. It's one-on-one.
Here's this great fight for GT4.
Winner take all between those two. These cars will be together pretty much all day at this rate.
41-2, 41-3. No, 41-4, 41-3. Dave's faster.
This is 3 hours of serious racing.
Where is he? Oh, he's gone. That was one car.
Dave Crampton, he's in the tyres, he's in the barriers quite hard at the top of the circuit. That's an unusual one, so frustrating for Dave Crampton. This is not the start he wanted. They finished second, he and Trent Harrison last year.
Phillip Island's an amazing track. It's super fast. It requires a lot of commitment.
It's a very world-renowned circuit. It's just so fast. It throws everything at you.
Very flowing. It's picturesque. Fantastic part of the world.
It's just amazing. It's such a scenic place. The track's just amazing. Love it.
I'm David Crampton.
I'm Trent Harrison. I drive for Vantage Racing.
For M Motorsport, Vantage Racing in the KTM crossbow. My passion for motorsport probably started when I was about 5. It's probably the earliest I can remember. My father would take us out to places like Warwick Farm and Oran Park, and we'd be watching the F1 guys when they came out from Europe. And it never left in my blood then. I was always passionate. Actually left school when I was 15, got a job as a labourer to save money for my first go-kart. So I started racing karts when I was 16, I think.
My dad used to race. I've been just brought into it, I think when I was 2 weeks old. I was at Winton. I was obviously a bit of a racetrack from the day I was born. I used to follow Ayrton Senna. He was my hero. I wanted to be a Formula 1 driver. I watched it all the time, played games with it. I missed a season due to no budget after I finished Formula Ford. Unfortunately, you miss a year. You probably go off the radar of everyone, and the whole professional thing sort of dried up for me, and I just focused on, I guess, making life outside of motorsport. But
along that journey, till now, I kept fit. I did quite a lot of sport, endurance running, cycling, racing, boxing. So literally, through my adult life, I've never stopped competing in some sort of sport. And the whole preface was to keep fit for motor racing, for one day that I would rejoin it again. I think for myself, the worst for my nerves, the start of the race meeting, the start of the weekend, or on the Friday or Thursday when we arrive. Yeah, I'd sort of do a bit of a job on myself and overthink things. But once I get in the car, it washes away.
2 practice sessions on Friday. He's been making big gains in a few areas.
Trent's a very, I'm trying to think of the word, but not intense, but he's very focused. He wants me to succeed as much as himself, so he does push me hard. First session, done. In GT racing, there's 3 classes: GT3, Trophy class, and GT4.
So GT4 are basically a scaled down version of a GT3 car. We're talking fast race cars. I qualified so close to the other KTM. They just bit me on the last lap of a 20-minute qualifying session. Ripped my heart out, but it's okay, it's all good.
I feel good. I'm happy about starting the race.
I think we're in a good position. It's a 180-minute race. It's got a long way. It's a hard track.
Looking forward to this one. Cars rolling off from the grid around the circuit at the moment as we get set for this 3 hours of GT racing.
It's a little difficult sitting there watching, but I trust the guy completely.
They're forming up side by side. Fraser Ross on board The pole-sitting McLaren on the outside of this front row. 3 hours of racing here at the island.
We get to the line and we are underway. It's a drag race down the long main straight down to turn one. Cold tyres, they'll be aware of that. That's a great start by Hackett to Story.
I'm looking at sectors and just make sure everything's working.
Dave's faster in the second sector here.
When Dave's out there, if we can stay within 30 odd seconds of the car in front, I'm in for a red hot chance.
The adrenaline doesn't wear off, the nerves don't wear off. You're watching every second.
It's his best lap of the weekend.
But of course, the endurance racing, it's a longer run. You don't just jump into these like a sprint race. This is 3 hours of serious racing.
41-2, 41-3. No, 41-4, 41-3. Dave's faster. Hang on. Where is he? Oh, he's gone. That was one car.
Dave Crampton has said on a number of occasions he really has to work very hard. And I'm talking about Dave Crampton. He's just noticed that the Dave Crampton car is in the tyres, he's in the barriers quite hard at the top of the circuit. That's an unusual one, so frustrating for Dave Crampton. This is not the start he wanted.
I was having a fantastic race. Right. Pace was good. I was right on Justin, and we were settling in, for a fantastic race. Turned into the apex of the last corner, coming onto the straight, and then all of a sudden the steering just let go of me, and the car pointed straight, and I was a passenger, just locked the brakes on as hard as I could, and hit the tyre barrier. We would have had a great race, So I don't know. The guys are talking about hopefully they can get it out, but unfortunately it was out of my control. It was mechanical failure with the steering.
Boys have had a good look and they couldn't get it back together. They probably could have, but it's not safe to do it. So
they'll take it back to the workshop and strip it right down and find out exactly what went wrong.
Motorsport, it's a very odd sport. It's at the high level, it's filled with mostly negatives. The positives are so big. You look at their supercars in Formula One. Aside from Mercedes Formula One team, the other teams win very rarely, but those wins mean everything. It's the same here.
It's a silly thing. I know you hear it before, but we've got terrible memories. So as soon as that one's done and your repairs are done, and obviously it does play on your mind a bit. But again, once you jump in the car, it seems to wash away.
And that's enough to keep me going. I just love driving race cars and the feeling of going fast.